Another interesting thing, and this is one of those feel good bills that just it goes to the core of who we are as Americans and what we need. Because Brian, my whole thing here at Citizens Alliance and Idaho Signal is our values, right? It's finding people who will promote and preserve our shared values, and a lot of that has to deal with how we teach, what we're teaching our children, how we're raising our children, how we're raising our families, how we're communicating with each other as neighbors. And so when it comes to civics, teaching civics in school, it seems as though that Representative Tony Wisniewski, has identified that we're actually not really, even though we're mandated to teach civics, we're not really teaching civics. Listen to his presentation here.
A piece of legislation that has followed the trend that we have seen lately, where we take rules and put them into code. This talks about the requirements for civics training in the public high schools, and also includes requirements for some of the test questions. In the past, the testing has been based on the naturalization test that foreign aliens are given when they apply for citizenship. And although it is somewhat useful information, it's fairly of a trivial nature, pretty much like Jeopardy. It doesn't help the student to know that Eisenhower served as a general in the Second World War. Also, I don't think it helps much in the way of civics to know that the United States is bound on the west side by the Pacific Ocean and on the east side by the Atlantic Ocean, and having to name two of the longest rivers in the United States doesn't really give a person a sense of civics and government. Also on this test that the new citizens, soon-to-be citizens, are given, they only have to pass with a 60% grade. I don't think that that's what we would require if we were to stick to the naturalization test, but this bill certainly outlines a whole bunch of other things that are more pertinent to the government and civics. And I'll stand for any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you, Representative. Questions, committee?
Yeah, Brian, excellent points there. The bill did get it moved on in its process, so that's a good thing. But yeah, isn't that what civics is all about, to know what the longest river in the United States is?
No, I think those are good things to know. It's good to have a mental picture of what our country is, what the geography is, the history of our country. You see those memes that point out that Eisenhower with this many medals won a war, while the guys nowadays have this many and lost. So it's good to have that knowledge. But as for actually understanding how our system works, you need more than that. You need to understand how our government works, how it evolved, how it turned into what it is today, the difference between federal, state, local governments. How many people still complain to the legislature about their property taxes? Well, there's some things the legislature can do, but that's a local tax, and a lot of people don't understand that. Obviously, you and I and those watching this program are plugged into state politics, which is great. But there's a lot of people who aren't. Whenever I knock on doors, for PCs or for legislative races, I always run into people who are, have no idea what a PC is, or think that their legislators are in Washington, D.C., and that's who they're voting for. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of education we need to improve so that people can be engaged and educated citizens of our republic, both at the national and state levels.
Yeah, and that's why we had a couple of months ago we had Elizabeth Landis on, author of The Forgotten Realm, which is a fantastic book that teaches it's targeted towards Christians, but it teaches Christians how to be engaged civically because that's part of our duties, is to know civics, to understand civics, and to be engaged in that. And I don't recall in the book them talking about geography. So I think this is such a crucial point, that if we're going to teach civics, that you should understand A, what your rights are, and B, how things actually operate. And you hit it on the nail there. There are a lot of people like you and me and folks that tune into this show all the time that do understand the process, or they understand it more than the casual person. But this program is designed to reach the casual person. Like if a casual person is watching, Newsmax or Fox News at night to just pay attention to what's going on nationally, you can watch this program and get a very good sense of what's happening in your own state. We try not to get too deep into the things that are the nuances and the things that are going on around the Capitol. We want to stay forward. We want to stay focused on the signal and really just keep you informed on what needs to happen next, and get folks in here to help explain it. Having Allman in here every day is my chance to sort of, be centered and understand, the nuances of those things. That way we can bring you the whole big picture and really stay on focus. So I really encourage you. I thought I had it. It's somewhere back here in this mess. The book. Actually, no, it's by my bedstand because I read it every night. But there it is. Yeah, there's a great shout out. The Forgotten Realm, written by Elizabeth Landis. And she's a local, folks. She's out in Moscow, and so we do encourage you to check out that book. That's great friend up there.